The crew worldwide, from Cali to Twitter, real hardcore fans, boxing ass niggas, consistency cops, police the views, we'll pull up receipts for any debate you choose. Shout outs to Clan Archie for the dope production. Ring gang stay with the best discussions. Ring Gang Radio.
Yeah, what's good, yo? Welcome to another episode of Real Talk, where, as always, if shit's real, we talk about it. I'm your host for the evening, Patscorpio, the New England representative, and as always, I got my man with me, and Malam introduce himself.
Hey, what it do, man? Shutterworth, the GOAT artist, aka LB, Lauderdale Boss, Soul Wars creator. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right, so LB, man. So we got some, we got a couple things we're gonna talk about tonight, like the upcoming fights for this weekend. But before we go into that, recap the Lara Castano card. Pretty much the card when it was announced. I mean, everyone knows. Like I said, it was just one of those cards that were like, I had no problem with Lara Castano. I'll put that out there. I said it before. I don't mind that fight. But the undercard for it was like, it was just there. I didn't like Ortiz Hammer at all. The opener was cool. The opener was De Gracia versus Ramirez, and Ramirez scored a one-punch TKO. It started off slow, then actually got better as the fight progressed, and it was a nice little KO. Gary's one of the Gary Russell brothers, Gary Antonio Russell's, whooped on the jobber that he faced. There was no question about that. And then what was slightly disappointing to me was Edwin, my boy Edwin Rodriguez, making his debut at cruiserweight, or a scheduled cruiserweight belt, weighing in at 198, and looked all of the 198, and he beat up on a stiff pause. Unfortunately, although he beat him up, he couldn't put him away. I was a little disappointed in that fight because mostly got condition. Edwin did put him away, even though the dude Mitch Williams was on the ropes, and Edwin did not look in the best condition. I don't think he's meant for cruiserweight, or at least not that high up in cruiserweight. So it takes us to the main two cards. I think the two showcase fights. First, Luis Ortiz versus Christian Hammer. Christian Hammer, like I said, I thought this fight was complete garbage. When I announced, I thought this was like, Ortiz doesn't need any more showcase fights. He's had two of them so far. I understand staying busy. One showcase fight, okay.
He's not even like showcasing himself in these fights. Like, he's still going mad rounds with these niggas. Like, how you turn your show fights into damn regular fights?
Right. The first showcase fight, the Kojanu fight, he put him away, and like, okay, that's what he's supposed to do. And then the other one with Kaufman went a little bit too longer than most of us like. That whole card was a whole nightmare. But that particular fight, I was like, what the fuck? He knocked him down a whole bunch of times, but it took the referee finally stopping it in the fucking final round. And then this fight, I was expecting a knockout. Because, Hammer was stopped by Tyson Fury of all people. So I'm just like, if Tyson Fury could stop him, Ortiz could stop him. I think that's what I thought. But instead, what we got was something that was probably slightly under a gut check fight for Ortiz. Some people saw it. I read some people saw it as a one-sided fight. I don't think it was that one-sided.
Round wise, if we're scoring the fight round wise, it was one-sided. But if we're talking about a fight, like we're looking at each round and how competitive the rounds are. Each round was competitive. There were some rounds where Ortiz maybe looked a little better. Like, I don't even think Ortiz looked bad. Like, this is the best I've seen him in a while as far as looking fluid. Bouncing on his feet, got a rhythm, he's doing combinations, body work. It's just for some reason I don't think he really put it together enough to get Hammer out, because Hammer was still fighting, and Hammer, Hammer was surviving and he was being crafty, but he was opening up enough where you could spark him, and it's like,
no,
I don't know what happened.
There are a couple things. One, in the second round, there was a blown knockdown. Hammer legit knocked Ortiz down. Ortiz's glove touched the canvas, but the referee did not call that shit. That was a blown.
Didn't they say that was like a little like a headbutt or something, a split? I think Ortiz had slipped a little.
I saw it looked like a punch to me. Ortiz definitely touched, and like I thought I saw a punch, and I saw him touch the guy. I was like, that's a knockdown. And then after that, Ortiz manages to break Hammer's nose, and Hammer returned that fucking favor. Like, Ortiz was bleeding from his nose and his mouth. This Ortiz got hit more times than I actually seen him usually get hit throughout the fight. That was the one thing. Like, usually, one thing about Ortiz is he knows how to use his footwork in order to create, his basically his footwork is defense. Like, he's a good practitioner of that. Defense on your feet, and he was always good setting traps with his feet, so it made it hard for people to really hit him cleanly. Yeah. That was one thing that was missing in this fight. I mean, yeah, he was more fluid because he actually weighed less. He was like 237. He actually looked a lot less, but he also got tagged more by Hammer. I mean, Hammer was throwing like one punch at a time, but when he was landing that right hand, he was hurting Ortiz. Like, you could tell Ortiz, like, first he was fucking saying like, oh, he was saying he wasn't hurt. But after Hammer landed a couple more of those right hands, you could tell that Hammer was shaking.
Yeah, them things were bothering him.
Yeah, for whatever reason. And then, like I said, he was leaking like his nose. I wasn't used to seeing Ortiz getting tagged so much cleanly by this type of level of fighter.
Yeah, like, I'm not even saying. I mean, we know Hammer is a jobber. Like, he's a guy, who's decent. On a fringe content, like maybe journeyman level. He's durable. He got power and everything, but you're supposed to, if you're a top 5 in the division, you're supposed to look a little better, against a guy like Hammer. Like,
right, especially, since you're over there trying to, get attention, try to create attention for a title, for another title shot. And there are cats over there like Ortiz is he's the facto fourth top heavyweight or whatever, or top 3 actually, the de facto 3. But he didn't look like personally. If he fought Femi, he would have lost. I fully believe he would have lost. He would have been KO'd. If he fought,
I don't even know if he would have beat Dominic Brazil with that type of fight, or even Dylan White. Who's to say?
Yeah, like it was that type of performance. Like, he won, but he looked bad doing it because of the type of fighter that
it was just too competitive. Like, if you look at what Ortiz was doing, I don't think he looked bad. Like, as far as movement and punching, and like, he did the right things, but for some reason, it's like it wasn't enough to really get this guy out of there, and he got hit too much. It just, I don't know, man. Like, it wasn't really a good look for Ortiz. Like,
no, it was not. It was a horrible look, and it's just like it begs the question, like, Ortiz officially, I guess, is going to be 40, or he is 40. Do you think that age? I mean, he's starting to slip a little bit in terms of being able to finish these opponents the way.
It might be that way. I don't know. It's starting to look that way, because the thing is, I look at it like, if you're a big puncher, you're a puncher, and you're throwing hard shots, you're not really supposed to be going mad rounds with dudes.
Like,
at that age.
Like, the only fight that I remember from watching Ortiz that I've seen that, gave me this type of vibe was when he fought Malik Scott, because I think he knocked out Malik Scott a whole bunch of times, but he let him off the hook. And, and for whatever reason, when Malik Scott got on his bike, he couldn't cut off the ring and catch him. So, that's Malik Scott is, he's not Christian Hammer. I mean, he is what he is, but he's not Christian Hammer type of fighter, and
he's more capable than Christian Hammer, but still.
But Hammer, it just was not good look. I mean, it's either that or I severely underrated Christian Hammer, and I've seen enough of his fights to think that I don't think he's anything special.
I mean, honestly, I felt like Christian Hammer was going to go in there, try to make it a little shootout, maybe Buzz Ortiz, maybe get dropped himself, but ultimately get stopped in like the 6th round.
Yeah, exactly.
But make a good little fight out of it before it happens, because Christian Hammer, he's no walk in the park. I mean, he's capable, but I mean, if you're number 4 in the division, if your name comes after Wilder, Joshua Fury, if your name comes after those 3 sets of guys, and your name is before Dylan White and Brazil, then I mean,
there has to be some separation in this.
It gotta be. So hopefully we see that in Ortiz's next fight. And Christian Hammer, he got himself another a night of work from that performance.
Right. Yeah, and hopefully Ortiz face, it has to be somebody. Like we need to see him face a live cat. Like it's that time, because you can't risk having Ortiz fight these type of niggas. Like you can't, because the wrong type of niggas. We all see this before. Like the wrong type can easily upset the apple cart. And
he getting older, and he putting. He supposed to get guys out of there. You don't want to see an older fighter take unnecessary rounds and get hit unnecessarily. Like him fighting 10 rounds and catching a couple more fades than he was supposed to. Nah.
And then bleeding from his nose and his mouth. It just wasn't a good look. He won. I'm not going to deny it, but it was, like I said, I don't think it was as wide as the judges said. It was.
How many rounds could you give Hammer in that fight? Like maybe 1?
You can give him like 3 or 4 to me.
Wow, I ain't see all that, bro. Like,
I think Ortiz,
you give him like 2 rounds. I didn't see Hammer really winning any rounds in that fight like that. Like I felt like he won one of the early ones, and he maybe out hustled another one, but more than 2 rounds, nah. But the rounds themselves were close because Ortiz never could really just outpace it, like just put himself out there and be like, okay, like I'm levels above you, instead of just showing, okay, I'm 1 level above you. Because that's how he was boxing. He was boxing like Ortiz was boxing like he was a fringe contender, and Hammer was like a guy, ranked, number 30 or something.
That's perfectly well stated.
Ortiz fighting to get in the top 10 with that performance.
And like I said, it just was really not a good look for Luis Ortiz. But like I said, he won, and most likely he's gonna be on a PBC card in the near future, because at least the one thing, he has been active. That's one thing you can give him. He's been active getting his bread, but you gotta eventually you gotta stop the showcase fights. You gotta scare up somebody. You gotta make some deals now. But yeah, so that takes us to our main event. Erislandy Lara coming off the Fight of the Year war with Jarrett Hurd, facing the WBA secondary, regular, whatever you want to call it, super welterweight champion Brian Castano. LB, your thoughts on that fight?
It was a pretty good fight, which I told y'all it was going to be a good fight, going to be entertaining, going to be competitive. I picked Castano to win I believe a split decision or a close fight. I said it was possible that there could be a draw. I remember saying that as well.
You did.
The fight was going to be close, and it was one of those rare draws where I could kind of agree with it, but when I was watching the fight and scoring it in my head, I felt like Castano won, and the reason why, I believe he kind of closed the show stronger. Like basically the fight was up in the air for the last 2 rounds. Mm-hmm. And I think Castano just finished it stronger with the 11th and 12th. He took that, but he started off mad slow. Like the first 6 rounds, I had Lara winning 4 of them shits.
Right.
Like Castano won like maybe I think the 3rd, then he won like I think the 5th, or he won one of those. He won the 3rd and then another round in that set. And then when the second half of the fight came, I felt like Lara won another one. I think it was a 7th for the 8th, and then from there just Castano kind of just turned it up. Like he started controlling the exchanges more, working the body and the head. The left hooks to the body were crucial.
Mm-hmm.
But if anybody's like, I feel like Lara won, and it's 7 rounds to 5, you know, I guess I could see 7 rounds to 5. Although Lara faded to me, but 7 rounds to 5 either way. But anybody who's scoring this fight 8 rounds or 9 rounds for one guy, then yeah, you saw a different fight. Nobody was that dominant in that fight. But I do feel like Castano won. I'm not saying robbery. No, it's not a robbery, but I do feel like he won.
Yeah. I mean, I thought, the fight was definitely close. One thing I did notice too, and I'm pretty sure you probably noticed too, is that Lara's movement is kind of deteriorating. Like, you know how it is with, when fighters lose just a fraction of their speed, like Roy Jones did, they suddenly become a little bit more taggable. And like me and you were just talking before about Dan Raphael and his article about saying, mentioning that, although I thought it was in a rather rude way, although you thought it was, he wasn't lying.
But it was rude because one of the main reasons why it's rude because you can't be a non-boxing ass nigga, a nigga who ain't never shot the fade, stepped into a gym and be just that reckless with an article. Like,
yeah, that title.
That's the thing. Like, that's what really made it rude because you're looking at damn Dan Raphael saying this. You're not looking at anybody else saying. You're looking at him saying it. So you're looking at this guy. You're like, this nigga look like he been on the couch so long. He's a part of the couch. Like he is the couch. And he gonna fucking talk about if somebody unwatchable or must see TV or not. Like, not everybody boxing for fucking TV. Some people box to fucking win. So,
right.
A little more respect. It was funny. I laughed. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I gotta still shit on this dude for that article or for that title.
Right. I mean that was dead wrong. Like I said. I mean, there's several ways you could put that. If you want to be tactful about it.
Yeah, have some tact.
Yeah. But Lara's footwork. Like I said, he didn't seem to be able to get away from Castano. Castano, I mean, obviously, he's a pressure fighter. He's a pressure fighter. He's a volume puncher, and yeah, he was catching those left hooks. Like Lara luckily wasn't doing the thing where he drops his hands as he's trying to come out, as he's trying to like circle out and get him blasted. But one thing that I saw is that when he was on those ropes and he was shelling up, Castano was landing, and he was landing like clear. I was like, this isn't good. I was like, I always thought that the Cuban defense was a little more circular than that, but it didn't seem like Lara had a whole lot of head movement or anything like that. He didn't have any. He didn't have like a plan B type of defense outside of what.
That's the thing. Lara really never moved his head like that. He always just kind of shelled up, and moved his feet.
Yeah, and that's the thing I found. That's the most thing I found alarming. Like punching. he found Castano. Like it wasn't like he actually mixed up his punches a lot better than what he usually does in his other fights. He mixed them up pretty good. Castano was catching that. He was catching some work, especially to the body too. Lara's punch selection was not Jerry Hurd like in that fight, but he was tagging him. But it was just alarming just to see him just go on the ropes, and when he couldn't escape, just high guard. Actually, they were both high guard, but Castano was more impressive. Castano was high guarding Lara, and he was obviously it's a short, but he was actually high guarding and actually landing those type of hooks that he was landing. I thought that was actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, he was landing some good hooks on Lara, like real shit. Like my biggest complaint from Castano, and I feel like this cost him in the fight,
because he wasn't
fucking jabbing.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, because I think he was just too much pressure, but he wasn't jabbing his way in. He was just trying to bump.
Yeah, like, people forget when you jab, you're controlling the round when you jab. Like you're filling in the dead spaces. I'm sorry, the dead gaps. When shit ain't happening, the guy moving back and he's trying to feel you out and the counter. You know, if you're gonna run toward him or pressure him, at least throw 2 or 3 jabs first. And that's what Castano wasn't doing. Like it didn't really seem like he ever got the jab going. Maybe a little better in the second half, but beginning because a lot of times he wasn't able to even get to Lara and get in front of him and start throwing hands until Lara already hit him a couple times and then got to the ropes and reset. And then now Laura's just trying to pick him off.
Yeah,
you know, he needs a jab. You know, the jab would have probably won him the fight a little cleaner, or even officially. Like, because even without the jab, I still had it 7 rounds to 5. But with a jab, he could have really made that a strong 7 rounds to 5, or even 8 rounds to 4.
Right.
So the type of leverage he was getting in them hooks, he could have got him. He could have forced a knockdown. Who knows?
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, it was just a whole for both fights. Like I said, it made for an interesting fight. It wasn't a boring fight at all. But it just seemed like neither one of them could really enforce their strengths on each other. Cause, you know, to the point where, you know, where you can see. I mean, you can see it depending on what you were looking for. If you're looking for pressure, you know, Castano probably won the fight on that. If you're looking for clean, you know, more accurate punching, for that. But the thing is, like, neither of them were consistent with their strengths throughout the fight.
Yeah, they kind of just neutralized each other. That's why I feel like the draw. This is like the Broner Vargas fight for me. Like, it was a real draw where, like, you saw one guy kind of take the beginning and the other guy kind of took the end. Like I'm not really mad when I see this type of draw in boxing, but when you give me fucking Triple G Canelo Part 1 and you tell me that's a fucking draw, then I'm gonna tell you ain't shit.
Oh man. But yeah,
so that's how I feel about this fight. It was good for a Lara fight, shit. Hell yeah, like I fucks with that. I knew it was gonna be good, shit.
Yeah, you know, it was definitely a dope fight. Yeah, Castano, at least like I said, Castano didn't deserve to lose his. I mean, Castano probably, you know, raised his profile up with, you know, with this fight because he gave Lara. I mean, I know now Lara's probably. I know people are probably gonna be gunning for Castano now. I forgot who called him out. I just saw. I think it was Lubin that called him out now. So I mean, he's not. I don't think he's gonna have any trouble finding a PBC fighter to actually fight him. 154 is a strong division.
Yeah, there's definitely some fights at 154 for sure. Both guys really. I don't know how long Lara wanna stay around. I mean, I feel like, you know, the way he boxing now is the way he should have been boxing. You know, imagine Lara throwing 800 punches without fucking running around the damn ring 1,000 times.
Right, exactly.
If you would have fought like he fought Saturday, he would have beat Canelo.
Yeah.
It just shows you that you don't have, like, you could outbox guys by staying close to them, by doing some boxing in small circles and just using pivots. You know, and that's what Lara was doing. He was just basic shit. Like, you don't have to be damn all over the place. You know what I mean? Because if you too far from the guy, you can't land. And then now it look like he's chasing you. So now the judges are looking at it like, yeah, one guy's trying to make the fight, the other guy isn't. And Lara stood there long enough to really, you know, to get hit and then fire back. So, you know, it showed that he was committed to his offense. But other than that, I mean, I wouldn't mind even seeing a rematch of this fight, you know, but not right away. Like, I like to see Castano fight some other people. Lara, I don't know who for him to fight right now. Any names you want to see him in there with?
I mean, Laura right now is probably. I mean, I know there are people. I mean, obviously, Laura probably wants Herd again. For that. I think that Herd. Yeah, Laura. People. I mean, most people would definitely would love to see Laura versus Herd too. Because another thing I want to bring up too is like Herd. I don't know how much that fight took out, but it seems like now, like I said, both men did not look good in their post-war fights. Laura probably looked a little bit better than what Herd did. I mean, I know Herd was coming from the shoulder surgery and everything like that. But
yeah, I gotta hold out on that just a little. Let me see Herd fight somebody on the level of Castano.
Yeah, because like I said,
similar level.
Because Herd struggled with that English cat. You know, like he really struggled with that cat before he landed. You know,
and the thing is, the English cat was fighting above his level too. Like you could tell, like he was damn. He didn't come to just fucking take a check. Like,
nah, hell no.
Yeah, and then about his business and shit. So I think that kind of surprised Herd as well.
Yeah, and that was it. But
a hard jobber. Like, why my jobber gotta try so hard? PBC nigga getting jobbers that just fall over, just like, man, fuck it. I'm gonna get like 30,000 for damn 2 rounds. I could do this.
Right.
The one nigga that's super serious.
That's exactly what happened. That fucking Herd fight, man. Yeah, Herd got a determined English cat. And
pay-per-view. Tyson Fury, Wilder. Hold on, undercard.
Yeah.
Herd, man, fuck that shit.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
So, but yeah, no, like I said, I mean, I'm pretty sure we'll know sooner or later. I mean, after Herd, I think Herd has J-Rock next in this title defense to get rid of one of his mandatories. So, I mean, we'll see where they go from there.
That'll be the fight to let us know. That'll be the fight.
Right, because J-Rock, if J-Rock does what, like the English cat was doing, then we're probably gonna say, like, yeah, I think Herd probably took a little bit too much clean punishment from Laura in that fight. Yeah, no. And it could be that too, and Herd is boiling down to 154 as well, so could be one or the other or both.